Hello everyone, my name is Capp and welcome back to the channel. Another 7 Days to Die video. We are doing all this on Alpha 18. This is still the experimental build on PC, just in case they change things up a little bit when it gets a little bit more stable. Today we are looking at the new powered device that they put in, new electricity devices. We have powered vault doors, we have powered garage doors, powered hatches, powered metal garage doors, and powered drawbridges. Now, if you happen to see any of the preview stuff that Joel was showing off, this is pretty much what it does. You can set up a motion sensor, so as you're walking in, it detects that you're getting close, opens the door for you, and you can walk on through without having to interact with it at all, and then it closes on its own. Now, one of the things you'll notice with these kind of devices is you can't manually open it. As I'm getting close, you see there's no option to be able to push the button to click on it like you would with a standard door. So you can click on this one to open it and close it manually. This one opens on its own, but you can't actually do anything with it. So I'm going to show you guys real quick what you have to do to get into making these, and we'll go through and show how they work out. Alright, so when you look through these on your crafting here, you're going to see that they're all locked. Obviously, you're going to have to be able to get some stuff to go through it. We'll start with the vault door that we have. Okay, so in order to be able to unlock this, you're either going to have to find the schematic for the power doors and bridges schematic, or you're going to have to learn the advanced engineering perk. Down here under intellect, you have one down at the bottom under craftsmanship perks, the advanced engineering. You have to have all the way down to level 5 advanced engineering bought before it'll unlock it. And before you can buy advanced engineering, you have to get your intellect level all the way to level 10. So it's going to take you quite a few skill points to get there. For the first 5 levels here, you only have to have 1 skill point apiece to unlock these. And then 2 through 8 is 2 points apiece, and then 9 and 10 is 3 skill points apiece. And then when you get down to advanced engineering, each one of these is 1. So you can see that it's going to take you a while to be able to get to this point. But once you do, then it'll remove all the locked messages you have here, and you'll see now that you need to have a crafting table to use these. So then we'll take a look at what we're going to need here. So for the powered vault doors is what we're working on here. First off, you can see it's going to take a little over 10 minutes to craft, so it's not something that's going to happen very quickly. You need to have quite a bit of forged steel, some springs, mechanical parts, and electrical parts. The springs, mechanical parts, electrical parts aren't too hard to come by. You can get those things from just taking things apart. You can stumble upon these. The forged steel is the one that's going to take you a little while to get. If you're not able to forge it yourself, you're going to have to be able to find it and or buy it. But after you get one of these, then you can just place it like a standard vault door. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at how the wiring works on these things, so how you can get them powered. Now the simple way you could do it, of course, is if you just had a power source, go into a switch, run the switch to the door itself, just like you would any standard device. As long as the switch is on, the door is open, flip the switch off, the door closes. It works exactly like you would think it would, no big deal. Problem is when you get to the other side, of course, it doesn't close and there's no way to close it. You could flip the switch and then run in, but then you would be trapped. Not so much fun. So what you could do is you could set up a secondary switch on the other side of the wall, and since you can wire through the walls, it's not a big deal. So then what you do is just connect the first switch to the second switch, and then the second switch to the door as well. Now this works, but it's a little bit tricky. If you have the first switch on, if you just leave it on, as long as this other switch is off, the door is going to stay closed. So it basically makes all your controlling on the inside of the base. So then you would flip this one on, the door opens, and if you flip this one, of course, it'll turn off. But it's hard to close from this side again, because then you either have to just turn off the power to everything and the door will close, then this side doesn't do anything at all, or leave this one on entirely and then rely just on this one switch to close it. And of course, just having to flip the switches back and forth, it's kind of a pain in the butt. It's completely unnecessary. So we'll take a look at motion sensors. Now, I'm going to go ahead and connect mine to the power switch just so I can leave it on and off and demonstrate it to you guys. And then from the camera, you'll wire it directly to the door just like you would a regular switch. Now from inside there, you can click on the camera and you can rotate however far out you want to, so if it wants to detect you coming from a long ways away, or you can have it real close nearby. I would recommend having it point kind of close to the door. That way, if you're working around your base over here, it's not opening and closing, just being kind of a nuisance. So that way, when you get kind of close, the door opens and you're good to go. It'll stay open for however long you put the power delay on there, and then it'll close on its own. Again, then you're left with the conundrum of, well, how do I open up on this side? That's when you would want to run the connection from one camera to the other. So connect it from one camera to the other, and then connect the camera to the door. Now we'll go ahead and change the timing on this one to, we'll do 5 seconds, and change the camera preview to point down towards the door as well. Now, when you decide you want to walk into it, you walk through, the door opens, walk through the other side, that camera will pick it up and will close the door, and then you can go back and forth and it'll open and close the door automatically for you. Now you can change the timing down a little bit lower if you want it to open and close fast, but if you have it too low, then when you get too close, then it starts kind of wigging out. Then it's trying to close before you have a chance to get through it, but then the camera sees you, it opens and closes, it's just weird little revolving door. But that's how you do the basic wiring on pretty much all of the powered devices. So let me get this set up here with the different doors that's new in this system and show you what it looks like too. Alright, so the same way it works with powered hatches here. So you can't access it here. I have it set up the exact same way I did with the vault door. I'll show you I can trigger this camera, it opens up, it'll stay delayed for a few seconds, I can drop it inside, this camera is set to trigger it, it'll close the door if it's not already closed, or if I come in from my base, it will trigger it to reopen again. So it works the exact same way the doors do. This is not a good setup here, this was just kind of show you the concept of how it works here. That you can wire a camera in on both sides makes it easier. Of course you could always just do switches if you want to wire it manually. This is just kind of showing you how you would want to go about doing it if you were in a hurry and you wanted it to be fully automated and not have to bother with pesky little switches. But you can see it works the same way with hatches as it does with vault doors. So let's move on to the next one. And the same thing will work with garage doors. You can see I have just a standard powered garage door here that when you trigger the light, it opens up like normal. And I got the same kind of camera system I did below. One on this side to trigger it so it'll open up from this side. And the wiring is the same. Power source to the switch, switch to the camera, camera to the door, and then camera to the camera, and camera to the door again. Now, real piece of advice here. Do not use the garage doors when it comes to wanting to make an opening for your truck. And I'll show you why. Because it's a little big to fit through. It doesn't quite fit through like it's supposed to. And you get some wonkiness like this. And that's what can happen with your truck is if you try to go through the garage doors with it. Your truck can't fit in here. All your bikes will fit through just fine, but your badass truck will pretty much destroy your garage. You can see it did quite a bit of damage to everything around it here, broke off the garage doors, and nearly killed me. So, word of advice, don't use the powered garage doors if you're using the truck. And of course, last but not least at all is the powered drawbridge. Now, one of the nicest things that they did about this when they fixed it in Alpha 18 is that the powered drawbridge is actually fast. It doesn't take a month to lower. So what I did was I just created a big arch here just so you can show what it looks like. That's not even an arch. It's a big frame. Move the camera out here and I wired it the same way. It goes from the switch to the camera, camera to the door. Camera on this side is wired to the door and that camera is wired to this one, so it triggers it just as so. And then something else they did that was wonderful is that the drawbridge now is actually 5 blocks wide. You can see I have just 5 blocks straight across here, and the drawbridge goes from edge to edge. So instead of having some weird layout that just doesn't necessarily work, you can actually get it to stay pretty close here. Now, of course, you can still see through the sides, but there's not a way to get in through the actual sides of the drawbridge here itself. But with this, then you can drive a vehicle inside and outside of it. I would, of course, recommend you go ahead and leave the timing on this thing to several seconds. That way it doesn't close while you're trying to get inside of it, because you'll just flip your Jeep over. And you can cause all kinds of problems with it if you're not paying attention with it. So let's see if we can get this bad boy in there. And we're home safe. Haha, we didn't get flipped out of the bed here. Alright, so that is good to go. You can use this as your garage, and now that it opens and closes, you don't have to have it try and trigger a half mile from you get to the house so that it has time to open before you get here. Now, real quick, because I know somebody's going to ask, yes, you can actually configure the motion sensors to do zombies. So if you wanted to be able to try and make some sort of trap, or if you wanted to make sure things worked opposite, whatever, you can turn it off. You can turn it for just you can turn it on and off for allies. You can turn it on for strangers, so anybody who's not in your party. If you're playing PvE, you can turn it on and off for zombies. So if you're going to have some sort of, trap set up somewhere and you wanted zombies to be able to trigger this so that when they stumbled in, this thing would open up here, then that will open up all kinds of different options for you to be able to force them to pathfind through the door that you want them to. I have some ideas of things I want to test that way. We'll see how it works out. But that's pretty much going to be it. The powered doors are fantastic. I'm glad they put those in there. I've been hoping for something like that for a long time, to be able to run electricity to a door and be able to just open and close it. And being able to make sure you can't open it without the electricity is going to be awesome. Allows for some really cool base designs if you're playing with friends or whatever. So, if you enjoyed the video and you found it useful, maybe do me a favor and hit that like button down below. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments. If you're new here and you're not already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And of course, if you hit the little bell icon, then you'll be notified when new videos go live. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the channel. You guys are fantastic. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.